Hello, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Chelsea, and I'm excited to give you a tour of RoofSnap. First, we're going to go through a few slides and give you an overview of what RoofSnap has to offer, how it can help your business, and then we're going to dive into some of the functionality in the actual app. So with that, let's get started. So why RoofSnap? RoofSnap saves you time, it keeps you safe, and it streamlines your sales process. Why we do what we do, we want to help to keep as many boots on the ground as we can and kind of put the measuring all the way through the estimating process into one system, so you don't have to take numbers from one system and put it to another. Kind of streamlines it from getting your lead, creating the estimate for your customer, getting those measurements, all the way through getting the contract signed and generating your material order. So putting all of that kind of into one system for you. We were founded by Jesse Whittington, who was a roofing contractor himself, and he wanted to find a way to make getting measurements faster, easier, more cost-effective, and created RoofSnap for his company and realized how many people that he really could help with that app. So he wanted to expand it and give that opportunity to every other contractor in the roofing community. What is RoofSnap? So RoofSnap is an app that you can use on your phone, tablet, or computer, and you can get measurements using aerial imagery. So you can either select an image in the app, or you can upload one, and you can draw the diagram yourself, or you can place an order through our service. It is both for residential and commercial contractors in the US and Canada. We do have folks that are outside of the roofing industry that use RoofSnap as well. The estimating platform is very customizable, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. So we are used in all 50 states in the United States and in Canada for more than 30,000 measurement projects a month. As I mentioned, RoofSnap is cross-platform, so you can use it on a computer, on a phone, on a tablet, and everything is saved up to the cloud for you. So if you, for example, drop your iPad, you do not lose any of that information that's in your RoofSnap account. You can then go over to your computer, over to your phone, open up, log in to your RoofSnap account, and all of that information is still there. So it makes it very easy to use your computer in the office, use your tablet in the field, and always have access to your information. These are a couple of the documents and reports that are available in RoofSnap, and I just wanted to give you a snapshot of these real quick. This is kind of what we're working towards throughout our demo today. So there are various documents as far as you can get your measurements. The sketch report is a measurement and inspection report. The agreement is the contract, couple different types of estimates that are available that you can present to your customers, summary reports, and of course your material order that you can send over to your supplier. So we're going to dive into these a little bit more when we get into the app, but this is a quick overview of what we're working toward. Getting measurements in RoofSnap, there are two different ways that you can get measurements. So we have a service that you can log in, send over the address that you want to be measured. Our trained technicians will take that address, draw the diagram in the app for you, and send those measurements and your project, that live amendable project, into your account within 2 to 4 hours. So we try to get it back to you as quickly as we possibly can. We also give you access to the same tools that we use to draw it yourself. Some folks like to place most of their addresses through the service and order their measurements that way, but occasionally they'll be on site and the neighbor wants an address, or they want their house to be measured and get an estimate or a quote for them. So you can open up your RoofSnap app, sketch out their roof pretty quickly, get measurements immediately right there in the moment, using the same tools that we use to draw the diagram and create those measurements for you with that service. Other folks like to do it all themselves. So you can either select an image in the app, or you can upload an image and trace that diagram out and get measurements immediately as soon as you get done drawing those lines on that image. So this is what the process looks like If you want to draw that diagram yourself, we are going to start here and kind of trace around the facets of the roof, just drawing each line of your rakes, your ridges, your eaves, etc. And this is what will actually measure the roof. So on here, you can see in this video that we are just tracing around those different aspects of the roof. And then once we get done tracing those lines out, we're going to label up the edges, which you'll see here next. So clicking on that edges button, you can select if you are putting drip edge or gutters, even if you just want to get your basic eave, rake, ridge, hip, linear measurements. You can label those lines up and the app will actually know to make any line that travels up and down the slope longer. So once we put in the pitch, which you'll see here in just a moment, it is going to adjust your squares and adjust your linear measurements to get nice, precise, accurate measurements. You can also see this dark blue shading here is accounting for the overhang. So that extra surface area that's above or below any overlapping sections of the roof. So you can get very accurate measurements with RoofSnap and very precise linear measurements as well with those lines accounting for the pitch or the slope of the roof. All right, you looking at imagery. So there are a few different imagery options, as I've mentioned a couple of times so far. You can use the imagery that's included in the app. We have a few different imagery sources that we pull from. Nearmap is one of them, one of the most popular. They actually will fly planes during different times of the year. So you can select the specific fly date that you want to draw out. Nearmap imagery is what we use for our service as well. So you have the opportunity to use that high resolution premium imagery. If you have a drone or you're using blueprints, you can also upload those and draw the diagram out using those images as well. Complex architecture in RoofSnap, we can account for a very wide variety of roof architecture. Complex roofs, if you've got a real cut up roof, a lot of overhangs, Dutch gables, even if you have commercial roofs that are both flat and sloped roofing, you can account for all of those different types in RoofSnap. Finding pitch. So oftentimes I will have folks ask me, well, how do you find pitch using RoofSnap? So we do have a couple of pitch tools in the app. On the left here, you can see the flyover. This is in the iPad specifically. So we are pulling in that pitch tool and you can use that to get a pitch measurement before you get on site. Or if you are verifying your pitch and you just want to open up the app and enter it in after you get there, you can do that as well. Through our service, we do provide the pitch for you in all of the orders. So we're going to look at the one on the right-hand side. This is also the street view pitch tool that we have available to you as well. So just kind of lining up that pitch tool on the roof. You can measure your pitch before you get on site, put that in there, and you've got your measurements before you actually get to the customer's house. Pins and inspection reporting. So I'll go into this a little bit more into detail when we dive into the app, but you can create a inspection report out of your measurement report if you have any inspection photos that you want to add. So a lot of times this is beneficial if you do a lot of insurance work or if you have a customer that wants to see the roof damage that's on their roof. You can take pictures of the damage and upload those and add them onto the actual measurement report. And that will look similar to this on the right-hand side. Again, I'll dive into a closer look at this here in just a moment. Our sketch ordering service. So this is our measurement service. Typical turnaround time is between 2 and 4 hours. So you log into your account, place your order. Again, we will sketch the roof out for you and send that amendable project into your account. So you can actually go in and add those inspection photos. Maybe there's a detached garage that the customer wanted, but now they don't. You can go in and adjust those measurements based upon what your customer wants and what their needs are. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the app. Just give me one moment here to switch gears. Switch my screen here. All right, so looking at looking at this page, this is what RoofSnap looks like on a computer. So you would go to app.roofsnap.com. That is the website that is on any computer that obviously would have internet. So if we're looking at this page, before we dive into one of these projects, I want to show you a little bit of navigation so you understand what we're looking at. The top left-hand corner, we have this hamburger. So projects is this page here that we're looking at. Those are all of your jobs, regardless of how you get your measurements. So you have all of your DIY projects that you drew the diagram yourself, and also any order that you place through our service. So I'll show you the difference and dive into those here in just a moment. Sketch orders, this page here, you can look through all previous orders that you've had in your account, see how much they cost, and see any details that you want to on that page. This material section, so this one's pretty important to note. When we dive into creating the estimate and all of the other documents, it's pulling from the pricing and materials that are set up in this list here. So we will help you customize all of your prices, your materials, what you charge your customer, what you pay to your supplier, all of your different document settings. If there's anything that you do or don't want showing on your various documents and reports, those settings are set in this materials list. So we'll help you set that up, and you do have access to that throughout any time that you have access to your account. So you kind of get to manage that. And if you have any questions, we are happy to walk you through step by step and answer any questions that you have along the way. Offices and users, so this is where you can add additional users to your RoofSnap account, whoever needs to be able to access any of these projects or sharing any of their project information with you. You can add them as a user on your account here. And there are also various office settings. And what we mean by office is if you have two different locations, for example, you've got one in Texas and one in Florida. And you've got different pricing for each one of those. When we say office and RoofSnap, we really mean like different pricing books maybe that you're pulling from, or different tax areas that you need to have different pricing or different specifications for your estimating setup. These status folders here, you can filter your jobs as they go through production, just a way to keep things organized. Office, again, if you have office in Texas or Florida, or another one I see commonly is if you do insurance work versus retail work, and you have maybe a different pricing structure or different different ways that the line items will show up on the various documents, you can have those as multiple offices. Users, if you are the admin on the account, you have the ability to switch back and forth between the various users in your organization. There are also settings that you can be set to only see your own projects if you're a sub-user in the organization. And that just gives flexibility as far as what you want your workflow to look like for your company. And if there are various settings or anything that folks should see or should not see, you can adjust those based upon your users. All right, so on this page here, at the bottom right-hand corner, we have this Add New button, and this is your action button. So we're gonna click on that blue button, and that gives you your two ways of getting measurements. So we can click on Create a Project to create a DIY project or order a sketch. And we're gonna go through ordering a sketch first, just real quick. So we have two options for you as far as what measurements you wanna get. A half snap gives you a quick square count. Outline of the roof, predominant pitch gives you a square count. So if you price per square, this one's likely going to be just fine for you. However, if you need linear measurements for your ridges, your hips, your eaves, your rakes, the full snap is going to be the order that you want, or the type of order that you want. So the full snap will give you linear measurements for your rakes, your ridges, your eaves, etc. It will also, of course, give you a square count. It is actually a bit more detailed square count because it will account for your overhang sections and the different various pitch values that are on the roof. So if you're looking to get nice tight measurements, full snap is the way to go with that one. I usually recommend if you just have a quick up and over and you just need a square count, you're not interested in any of the other detailed measurements, half snap, go with that one. If you want the full detailed report, go with the full snap. So click on the order button. We're going to type in the address that we want here. It's going to drop down and you will click to select that address. It's going to place this red pin on the map for you, and you can click and drag that around if you need to move it onto a different structure. And if you just make sure that is, of course, on the right structure. If you have multiple buildings, an apartment complex, for example, you can click on each building and it will place a separate order for each pin that is on the map. So if you've got 50 buildings that you need to order and they're all within, one apartment complex, you don't have to place that order 50 times. You can just click on each building that you need and it places a separate order there. The other cool thing here is if you see these exclamation points, this means that somebody in your organization and your RoofSnap login has placed an order within 25 meters of this red pin. And you can click on that exclamation point, see who placed the order, whether or not it was completed. And this helps to prevent duplicate ordering so that you're not paying for the same order twice. On this screen here, you can select what you want. If there's a detached garage that you want included, this is just a house with a detached garage, let us know the buildings that you want included with that order. If you just want the main house, you can let us know that. Or if there's half a structure, whole structure, just select the option that you want there. And in the notes section, this is your way of communicating with our sketch technician. So if you happen to know the pitch, you can put that in there. If there is a section of the roof that you do or don't want included, you can put that in the notes and we will know exactly what you need completed for your order. The owner here, so maybe you've got an admin in the office taking the calls from the leads and they are placing the orders, but it needs to be sent to the salesperson when the order is completed. They can be logged in as themselves, like I am here, but maybe we need Alan to receive this when the order is completed. We can select Alan. He's going to get the notification email and that project is going to show up in his RoofSnap login. So you can kind of give some flexibility as far as the various folks that are in your organizations. As far as pricing and how to pay for your orders, you can put this on the card that you have on file, or you can use a different card in the moment. And there are also various user settings as far as who you want to allow or not allow to use the company card when they are placing orders here. So when that order is completed, it goes into your projects page. You'll also get an email, or whoever was selected to receive that order will get an email. And it's going to show up with this little yellow badge here. And we can click into this order. And if you're just interested in the PDF, you can go into the documents page. That will give you your measurement PDF. And there's also a couple other things that you can do here. So in the sketch, this is where we are going to add an inspection photo. Over in the estimates page, that's where we're going to build out our estimate as far as what line items should be included on this job. Creating that estimate, the contract, the material order. So first I'm going to go through the sketch order report, and then we're going to dive into a couple of these other sections here. So click into documents. That sketch order report will be completed when your order is completed. It's going to have the overview of the house. Once your logo is in your account, your logo and your business information will be there. You'll have the pitches on each facet. You've got your linear measurements on each line of the roof. On the measurements page, we have the basic line measurements. You've got your square count. If you use square feet, you also have that option there as well. This waste percentage, we do have a waste percentage calculator in the app that you can use. So you can either use this, or if you want to change your waste percentage, maybe you want this project to be 12%. You can change that waste percentage in the measurements page and it'll adjust your calculations here for you. So you don't really have to do any math. You just tell the app what exactly you want and it'll do that for you. The category measurements, I'm going to show you in the sketch here in just a moment how you can add these onto your order or onto your project to get linear measurements for things like drip edge or flashing or gutters. And these actually will pull into when we build the estimate too. So the RoofSnap platform will take your measurements and the pricing that you have set in your account and calculate all of your cost and quantities for the job for you there. We've got our areas on this page, and then there are a couple of other pages that we're going to see once we add those inspection photos. So that is a quick overview of the sketch order report. Let's hop over into the actual sketch. So clicking over into the project, click on sketch. We can see this diagram was completed for us when you place that order. But you can also amend this. Maybe we get on site with a customer and the customer doesn't want this back section included. They're not interested in having that part of the roof replaced. They just want to have this main part of the roof replaced. We can click on edges, click on delete edge, and delete those lines or that section of the roof at, and that will update our measurements in the moment immediately. Maybe you place your order and get on site and the customer initially did not want this back section, but now they do. You can open up your RoofSnap app and click to plot these points around those facets. Connect your lines together. We'll label up our edges. So we'll go over to this edges screen, click on Eve, label our rakes, label our wall, put in the pitch, and we've got updated measurements right there in the moment. So very quick and easy to make amendments based upon what your customers want or do not want. A couple of additional customizations that you can make over here in the edges screen. If you want to add, let's say we're adding gutters and drip edge to all of the eaves on this roof, we can select the gutters, select the drip edge, and click on each eave, and it will give a linear total of all of those measurements for us, and that pulls into our estimating platform. Maybe on this house, they don't want gutters on the back, but they do on the front. They just want eave edge in the back. We can add those, just the drip edge, and we can have gutters in the front, so you do not have to use the same line labels on every single line for the whole project. You can specify which lines exactly you want those different materials on. So let's put some drip edge on all of our rakes here real quick, label those up. And I'm gonna put some flashing on our step walls and on our walls. Cool, so now we've added our sub labels. Another thing that you can do here, if you charge extra for maybe multiple stories, I've got a 2-story label here on these 2 facets. Maybe I have multiple layers of shingles to tear off here in the back. We can add this label here. When we go into our estimate, it's going to pull from this facet saying, okay, we have multiple layers of shingles to tear off on this facet. And it's going to pull the additional charge, whatever that is, if you have one, from this facet and calculate that for us. So kind of take some of that math out of it for you, and you can add those additional charges as needed based upon the different facets of the roof. The low slope label works a little differently. So low slope will actually separate out a facet or the squares of a facet from the rest of the roof. So this one, maybe we have rolled roofing here on the back, but we have shingles or anything else, tile, slate, anything else on the rest of the roof. But we have rolled roofing or mule hide or some sort of low slope product here on the back. Using this low slope label, it'll separate out this facet from these facets. So when we select our shingles, for example, it's going to calculate shingles for all of this area, and it'll calculate our rolled roofing or whichever product we choose for this area here. So very quick and easy to estimate multiple products on the roof. Over in pins, so these are pretty cool as far as inspection purposes. So over here on the right-hand side, all of these are customizable. So if there's anything that you want to be in here that's not already, you can add that in and customize that with any photo or any specifications that you want. So I've got a hail damage pin here in the back. Maybe we have a leak area over here on the valley or over by the, I'm sorry, where the ridge meets the step wall over here. Maybe we've got a leak area there. We can add that leak area pin. And maybe we have a plumbing boot here in the back. Let's grab a plumbing boot, place that on the roof. So you can create a site map with these pins, and you can also add notes and photos. So if we click here, we can upload a picture, we can add a note, and that will pull on to the sketch report on the inspection page, on the assessment page on the sketch report. So I'll show you here in the back, I have a hail damage picture already uploaded. I pulled this one straight from my computer. If you're on your mobile app, you can pull it straight from the camera in your device as well. And then I added a note there. All right, so let's click on done and let's hop over to, this is that waste percentage calculator I was talking about. It calculates a waste percentage for your shingle, hip and ridge and starter. Those waste percentages can be set separately over in the materials. We call it the materials manager for the where you set your pricing. So those can both be set in there. So we're going to hop over to the updated sketch report. And I'm going to show you where to generate a new one after you have made any changes. So we'll click in Documents, click on Add New. We're going to grab our modern sketch report. It's going to look very similar to our sketch order report, except it's going to have those changes with those sub-labels and those inspection pins. So again, we've got our overview of the house, your logo, once you have that in your account. We've got our pitches on each section of the roof, the linear measurements. These category measurements are the sub-labels that I added. So I added some gutters, some flashing. We've got our low slope area that is separate from the main section of the roof. We've got our edge labels, which are those sub-labels we added to each line. We've got your areas. And then here's our assessment page. So we have the site map of those pins. And we've got, I have my picture that I had uploaded there to that pin. Had I added any additional pictures, those would show up here. And my note that I added there as well. So this is the measurement and inspection report, measurement and inspection report available to you. This is in a PDF format, so you can download it, you can print it, you can email it, you can do whatever you wish there with it. All right, let's hop over into creating an estimate. So over here in the estimates page, as I mentioned, we will help you set up and customize your pricing in your RoofSnap account in that master list. Once that pricing is set, it's going to pull through for every project and every user that you have in your organization. So when I click on estimates here, I built out one as an example, but I'm going to build out another one just so you can see quickly what that looks like. So I'm going to click on Add New. You can either add each line item one at a time or make it quick and easy for you and create templates. And templates are just going to pull in those saved list of line items for you. And you can come in here and amend that. So maybe we don't have ice and water shield on this specific job. We can delete that out. That was a line item. All of these line items were saved in my good template. Maybe we need some roof decking, but we didn't have it saved in that template. Click on Add New. Go over to Materials. This is that master material list. So pulling all of those materials that you have in your account to select from. We can grab our roof decking, click on Done. It adds that line item there at the bottom for us with the price that you're going to charge your customer. And it calculates everything based upon the measurements that are in that sketch, in that project. Let's select a shingle color here real quick. Maybe this one is going to be Estate Gray. So you can customize each estimate on each job or each project as you need to. And you can also do 2 different types of estimates. So right now we have a good and a best in here. You can put up to 5 options here. And then over in the documents page, we click on that, click on your add new. And the modern estimate is a single option estimate. So that is just if you're giving your customers one option, that's it. You can send them that modern estimate. If you are doing like a good, better, best, or a comparison, maybe multi-option estimate, the modern comparison estimate is going to be the one that you're going to go to. So I'm going to generate this one here. So we've got our 2 options, select from which options you want. That's going to generate our comparison estimate PDF. Again, of course, your logo would be there at the top to brand your documents. And this is a quick example of what a comparison estimate would be. And I do have folks ask from time to time, some people want to show all of these line items and some people do not. So if you are somebody who just wants to show the shingle and the total cost at the bottom, and you do not want to put any line item prices or totals, that is totally fine. You can set your documents to have as much or as little information showing as you want. So some people want all of this information, and this is definitely a more detailed estimate that could be provided for you, but some people don't want all of this information. You can turn these off and you can rename any of these line items to what you want them to be called. So this is not set in stone by any means. You can change it if you want to provide and install GAF Timberline HD shingles, Patriot Red with 20-year warranty, and any other verbiage that you want included. You can do that and have all of your verbiage there that you want. So this is a quick example of what the comparison estimate would be. Again, this is a PDF, so you can print it out, you can email it, however you want to send it there. The single option estimate, just to give you a quick peek at what that looks like. Same idea, you can customize these line items, quantities, and totals. If you don't want these showing, you can turn those off. And then you'd have your total there at the bottom. Once your customer decides which option they want, you can click on the sign contract. Your terms and conditions will be in here. So you send over your contract with whatever your contract currently says. We will put it in your account for you here. You do have access to put it in yourself, but most people just have us do it for them. We don't charge any additional for that. So you would type in anything that you want if you have check boxes or anything specific that you go through on your contract. Have your customer click or tap, put in their signature, click on save, and that generates the signed contract PDF for you right there in the moment. So that would look similar to this. Again, you can customize as far as what you want to show or hide and what information you want to be present as far as your line items go up here. The material order, I'm going to save us a little bit of time and just go through these documents here pretty quickly. I've already got them generated. So the material order will give you your costs and quantities. So you can send this straight over to your supplier, or if you're taking it in to purchase your items, you can generate this straight from the app and it'll tell you exactly what you need for the job. So how many shingles you need, how many bundles of shingles you need, how many boxes of nails, etc. And then it will show you your total cost here at the bottom. The summary report will give you a breakdown of where your job's coming in at. So contract price, labor, materials, taxes, profit margins, commission if you have it set up. So this is also a document that will give you kind of an overview of where the job's coming in at. And this one can be turned on. The visibility can be turned on or turned off for any users in your organization. Some people need to have access to these type of documents and some people do not. So you can kind of pick and choose who you want to be able to generate this report in your account. The labor report will give you a breakdown of labor on each line item. And again, these are customized and we help you customize these when you get your account set up. These are customized in that master material list. So you specifically dictate what you are paying out on labor and which line items you are paying out labor on. And then the last one here is a pre-start checklist. And this one, it can be used for a few different ways. This can be adjusted over in the notes section. So if we go over to notes, maybe we put in, yes, the dog needs crated before work begins, or any other notes that we want to be in here that we want the customer to sign off on before the job gets started. And these can be pre-populated questions too in your account. So you don't have to type in these questions every time by any means, but you can go in and fill in the questions, fill in any blanks that you need to there. Pop over to the documents page. This one can be signed just like the contract. Just click on that add new button. Can be signed, and then you'll have your populated PDF right here. All right, so those are the documents and reports and estimating in a nutshell. Again, there are a lot of ways that you can customize your account. So get with us if you have any questions or want anything done specifically, or you're not sure how to go about customizing it in RoofSnap, let us help you and we will get you all set up there. Really quickly, before we get done, I want to show you a quick example of how to draw a diagram yourself. So all of the features that we have gone through as far as amending the sketch, creating the documents, creating the estimates, and adjusting any of those features or adding any inspection photos, all of that is the same for a DIY project as if it were also a sketch order. So you can use all of the estimating features are the same. They look the same as we just went through here with this order. Same idea with a DIY project. So I'm not going to go through all of the documents and reports again, but I do want to show you because it's a little bit different as far as selecting the image and tracing out the diagram if you're drawing it yourself. So back over on your projects page, click on add new, click on create a project, type in the address that you want measured. And this is where you can select your office, and there's additional information if you want to put in billing or insurance details. Click on create. From here, we click on sketch. And this pulls us into a map. So on this map, you'll zoom in as far as you can. This is telling RoofSnap where we need to pull imagery for. If you are using a blueprint or a drone image, you can upload that, the screenshot of the blueprint or that drone image PNG or JPEG up here at the top. If you are using the imagery in RoofSnap, you'll click on preview imagery options, and it pulls in your different images that you can select from. So you can use the standard imagery or that near map premium imagery. Again, you can see the different dates that they have flown to get these images. I recommend selecting the image that is looking straight down at the roof, has less tree coverage, less shadow coverage. You can see here we've got a winter one with a little less foliage. This one here is during the summer, a little more foliage. But I like this one here because it's looking straight down at the roof and we don't have any type of like image distortion there. So we'll click on redeem credit. On this page, we are going to rotate, use these rotation buttons, line up that image and make it nice and straight. Makes it really easy to draw. Got a feature in the app called 90 mode to help you out with that. You can click and drag that around. When you're happy with it, click on save image. And that pulls us into our drawing screen here that we saw earlier. So we'll click on draw. You can scroll up or down to zoom in nice and close. And we are left clicking, if you're using a mouse, around each of those points on that facet, kind of drawing these facets individually, making sure that the ends of our lines are connected together. So you'll definitely want to make sure that those points are connecting and that your facets are closing. And I'll show you a tip on how to double check yourself here in a moment. So I'm just left clicking. Now I want to drop that line off my cursor. So I'm going to right click and we'll go down here and sketch out these facets here in the front. So again, starting at that point, left clicking around each of my facets. A lot of times I will see people draw this rake as one line. You will actually want to split your rakes like this at the ridge. And that is so that the app will calculate these two facets individually. So please be sure if and when you're drawing these diagrams yourself, you are splitting these two rakes at the ridge point here. Once you have these points drawn, you can adjust them. So maybe we need to move this over or adjust it just slightly. You can right click, pick up any of those points, scooch them over, move them around, make any adjustments. You can also right click and see which lines are connected to that point. If there's a line that is kind of sitting in the middle of another line, it's not going to connect, and therefore your facets will not be calculated for that specific area. So super, super important to make sure that your lines are connected. We've got an overhang section here in the back. So just to show you what this overhang section looks like, I'm going to open up Google, and we're going to fly around with the Google 3D imagery. And so down here, we're going to draw this rake line down. This eave is going to go past the rake that's drawn up ahead, draw our step wall line up and connect it into where this ridge meets. And we're essentially, by drawing it underneath this facet over top, we're getting that extra surface area of that overhang. So started our rake. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this here. Left click, this eave, I'm going to draw it over just past that rake that we drew up ahead, taking our step wall line up and then connecting it into our ridge line there. So the other way you can double check yourself is clicking on facets. Each of your facets, you should have this light blue shading and a number inside each one of your facets in the center. If you have a facet that is not connected, which might look like this, for example, it's not going to be shaded in blue. So again, it's really important to make sure your lines are all connected, and you'll have that blue shading, and this number is where we're going to put in the pitch. And again, like we saw in the slides, you can put in those, find the pitch in the iPad version of RoofSnap, or you can verify when you're doing your on-site inspection. Click on the number and then click on the number inside the facet, and that is how you'll label up the pitch there. All right, last step are your edges. So clicking on eave, again, very simple. You just click on the edge label that you want and then click on that actual line to label it up. Grab our gutters. If you want to add any sub labels, so any of those materials, your drip edge, ice and water shield, these connect directly to each other in the estimating platform. So that's how we were very quickly able to get those measurements and create our estimate with our costs and materials and everything there. So label those up. We've got our pitch put in already, and you may have noticed that these linear measurements get longer based upon the slope of the roof. So definitely important to label up your rakes, steps, valleys, hips, etc., to get nice, accurate measurements. Same idea as the pins. So if you want to add any inspection photos, these all pull into the estimate platform as well. And those will tie into that sketch report. So we'll click on done. That waste percentage and everything from here forward is the same as we went over with that order report. So you would save your sketch, click on documents, click on add new, and you've got that modern sketch report for that measurement and inspection report. And then you'd go through and create your estimate and all of your various documents with that there. So that in a nutshell is RoofSnap. There are quite a few features available to you. So feel free to give us a call, check it out, let us know any questions that you have, or if you want any help customizing your account, we are definitely here and happy to do so. We will do unlimited free training with you and with your team to make sure you're up to speed and make sure everybody on your team is understanding how to use it. If you need any help, please reach out and please let us know. So I look forward to talking with you soon, and thanks so much for meeting with me today.